If you enjoy my videos, don't forget to like them, share them, and subscribe to my channel. And remember, small YouTube channels like this can't be monetized, so if you're able to support me by becoming a patron, it really helps. My Patreon link is in the description. I will begin with Bride. Did my journey start with her, saint or goddess? For all her wild appeal, for all her wide appeal, she's a slippery one, hardly featuring in the old texts at all. She has only the faintest of mythology as a goddess, much more as Saint Bridget of Kildare. Of course, shall we speak of Brigando and Brigantia? Shall we return to the keening mother of Rude? To the goddess of poetry and smithcraft, goddess saint of healing wells, old gods like Bel or Belinos, who may or may not be Belimaur, they have no story left at all. It sounds like a good bet to honor him at Beltane, but that's only a guess. Like Don and Lear and Anu, there's nothing remaining of their stories. They are merely the first in lists, a distant point of origin. So how is it that we can still sometimes feel them? Lu, who was once Lugos in Gaul and Iberia, but it's in Ireland that his story is so rich. Hero, foster son, son of both the Tuatha De Danann and the Fomorians. Lu, who killed his own grandfather in battle, the many-skilled one, leader of a skilled people. He returned to Father Cuchulainn in a dream, and returned again to confirm the sovereignty of Conn of the 100 Battles, or so they say. He may somehow be Hlé. Their stories are different, but nothing is impossible here. Nothing is impossible, and nothing is forgotten, as they say. It's just a bit kaleidoscopic, fragmenting and reforming into beautiful, light-shattered images, which your soul immediately recognizes while your mind rebels at the strangeness and you reach out for something solid to hold on to. These were the first deities I knew, and they were hard to know, partly because I had no point of reference, no sense of how or where to read their stories or not stories. I went forward mostly blindly for years. It's a wonder I didn't lose interest completely. But even the thread of their names, an occasional sense of their presence was something. They're woven gently through the landscape of their homelands. Don't only look for them in the stone circles and under dolmens. You can find them all over. Go to any path that follows running water, between two hills with beautiful curves, or in a hazel copse. Tread the same path repeatedly, and the very energy raised by your footsteps will awaken them, or so it was for me. These are the gods who went into the hollow hills. They receded into the very atoms of the hollows of nature. They are in the here not here, they're right beside you, and their stories are a thread along which they travel, along which so much is communicated, is transmitted, a thread which they feel their way toward us into our time, and along which we find our way through the dark to them. When we speak their names and tell their stories, when we think about them, they glow a little brighter, become more solidly here. They have more agency in our world again. I began to find their stories, mostly the tangled web of Irish stories, and from this emerged Manannán mac Lir, the beautiful, wise, generous god of the sea. He may be named for the Isle of Man, or the island is named for him. He may somehow be one with Manawydan fab Lir, son of Belimaur, second husband of Rhiannon. It's just that we don't know how they are one. Do not enter the realm of the Celtic gods if you want black and white answers. There are no certainties here. They are mist. They are sunbeams. They will not get their stories straight in order to reassure you. It's all hide and seek through a maze of texts, manuscripts, and recensions, genealogies that go in circles and cognates that don't quite work, ducks that don't walk like ducks, and swans that may be princesses. Don't get me wrong, scholarship is rewarding here. Just temper it with patience and with mysticism. Allow imagination. Give it all time. You can't know it quickly, no matter how high an achiever you think you are. The next I encountered was Epona. Having been shepherded along for years by the 3 or 4 I've mentioned, I was playing it pretty casual. Epona began to show up, letting me know this was real. Glorious Epona, horse goddess. When I was pointed to Rhiannon, I knew they were not the same. Rhiannon, who they say linguistically might once have been Rigantona, if there ever was a Rigantona, and Ternon, who may have been Tigarnonos. But Rhiannon and Ternon are enough, surely. But the Mabinogi, I have learned so much keeping that under my pillow, a copy in every room of my house. So much makes sense now. I can almost lay the cards out straight sometimes, almost. I think back to that encounter I had with Mabon. I get in touch with Maponos, divine sons of divine mothers. They say to me in slightly out of sync stereo, I'm fine with that. I've been under the earth. I've seen the prison. I understand the healing there and the importance of setting it free. I hear from Macha of the many Machas, queens, warrior women, land goddesses, swift, shining ones, Macha of the triple Morian, Macha, horse goddess, who is not Rhiannon, who is not Epona. I see them traveling together more and more these days, haired mothers, mare mothers, horse queens. Macha is looking over my shoulder, reminding me that we have things to do. Mabon wants us to unblock the healing springs, to unblock the dammed up door to the gods, the door of myth. There is help and healing and wisdom behind that door. There's always more. Ogmios, who they say linguistically cannot quite have become Ogma, god of poetry and eloquence, god of strength and writing and a sunny countenance. He leads his followers by silver chains from his golden tongue to their enchanted ears. I follow him willingly, as I follow this misty path, preferring beauty to logic every time.